American rugby.
The New England Free Jacks, Major League Rugby champions. One-on-one to score.
Here are your hosts, Bill Baker and that other guy.
Whew, I tell you what, yes. For those who are just listening in and not watching, the glasses that Fitzy has on right now, it's like we're back on the slopes in 1984.
Like the Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Yeah, that's right. He's getting himself ready for the second half of the show, but this works. Again, thanks everybody for tuning in. This is US Rugby Happy Hour Live. Another very fun night. We thought we would have had a hard time topping last week's show, but this week I think is as equal, if not better, with the two guests we have here. And also, if you do see video of this show, you just got to check out Fitzy's shirt. You know, that green, the Miami Dolphin shirt. Apparently, all your laundry was dirty. You had nothing else to wear.
Pretty much. It was in the smell pile, the pile that smelled good. So I put it on. Nice.
We'll have to put you in the sin bin, like the Chicago Hounds. What was it, like the doghouse? Yeah, I like it. We'll get you one of those. Let's do a couple of things. Let's take care of business really quick. First of all, if you could, please like, follow, and subscribe this show, whether you're listening to the podcast replay on your favorite podcast player or live right now on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. Please go ahead and follow us and like it and share it with your friends. It really helps. It helps us, makes us feel good, I guess, and so off. Also, tonight's show is brought to you by QuickTap. QuickTap is the only sports video and analytics platform designed specifically for rugby. QuickTap makes it easy to categorize video and collect stats as you watch film. It's all for coaches, players, staff at all levels, and I promise you it's very affordable. So check it out. With those stats and clips, QuickTap's video review and analytics capabilities help cut the wasted time from your off-field review so that you can get straight to the insight you need to play better and get a leg up on your opponent. So check out getquicktap.com and use the offer code Happy Hour. That's one word, Happy Hour, when signing up for a free trial, which will get you 10% off your annual subscription when you do subscribe, and I really feel like you will. And also, QuickTap will sweeten the deal by tracking your first match for you. QuickTap, the most powerful way to beat your opponent before ever setting foot on the pitch. All right, what do you think, Fitzy? Get into it, or should we talk for another 15 minutes or so about nothing? Let's get into it. Yeah, stupid question. All right. Our first guest tonight didn't wait for the happy hour effect. If you're not familiar with the happy hour effect, that's when guests have big games after appearing on the show. This guy he decided to not risk it and have like the top MLR performance the week prior to the show, just in case all that good luck goes away from us. So let's welcome Jason Damm. Hey, Jason.
Hey, fellas, how's it going?
Good, man. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. You know, it's a little overcast here in LA, but happens from time to time. You know, can't get the sunshine every day.
No, you can't. And you know, I'm slightly disappointed. I was hoping to have a hairstyle talk with you.
This is the new style.
It's for those listening in. It's not the long hair anymore. It's not the flowing locks. It's a nice close cut to the head. When did you do that?
Yeah, I did it Saturday over the bye. So we had the bye week, and I just needed a change. You know, I was watching film and seeing myself do this every 5 seconds, and just wasn't super stoked with the way that I had been playing. Just wanted to keep raising the standard, and kind of as cheesy as it is, wanted to make a physical change to help with the mindset.
Yeah, hey, whatever it takes, and it seemed to work. So keep going. Shave more hair off for next weekend.
Yeah, I know. I got to go down to a 3, I think, this weekend. Just 1 grade down every week.
I've looked back at videos and photos of the show, and Fitzy, you too have gone from the longer hair to the shorter as well. I think you've really trimmed up over the time. Mine, I'm losing hair, so.
The natural short trim.
Jason, I used to have long hair like you. I had it down past my shoulders. I did that twice in my life, and I like it. And I want to do it again, but my wife's like, you do it again, then you're going to be in the Chicago doghouse. So I don't want to do that.
Yeah, man, it can be tough to grow it out. I had it long in college for a while, and then when you're playing, it's so hard to grow it out because, like I said, you keep pushing out your face. And then I finally got along in Atlanta through COVID. Like, you don't have to go outside and see anybody. You can kind of sit through those awkward phases of hair growth and then come out on the other side with some luscious locks.
I think I had those one time in my life, right around 18 years old. So, Jason, I mentioned it in introducing you. Congrats on Player of the Week honors. First hat trick for you, and in the league. First hat trick in the history of RFCLA. Have you ever scored 3 tries in a match ever at any level?
I didn't think so. Maybe I felt like I had gotten one against Houston in like 2021, but I remember me and Ross Deacon were going back and forth that game. Like I scored, then he scored, then I scored. I felt like I might have gotten 3, but I guess I didn't. I don't know. I never really paid too much attention. Like this weekend was kind of funny because it was like 3 set piece tries. The boys really just handed it to me in a breadbasket, so I was happy.
Well, it's very efficient because I think you had 53 meters gained or something like that with
That's
3 tries. So that's very efficient.
I'm all about efficiency, man. Too many knee injuries. You got to be as efficient as possible.
Yeah,
very true.
Was Ben like, Jason, come on, a couple of those should be mine?
Yeah. I know, poor hooker, man. He couldn't sneak in fast enough. We were rolling at the back there.
Just tell him to cut his hair.
That's what I said. Run faster,
all right.
bro. Pull it off.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about this match really quick. It's no matter when, it's nice to win games, obviously, but it seemed like you and the team got a little more out of this win than others. Was it just the emotions of getting back in the win column?
Yeah, I think that was absolutely huge. Like, we've had some really close games, and I mean, obviously, you look at the record. We've won 2, tied 1, but we lost 1 point to Dallas in the first game after getting 4 yellow cards. We lost to San Diego away by 1 point. Like, so we knew we had it in us, and we knew it was coming. But this was like a really nice reset point for us. Like after our last bye week, we're playing the team that we felt like we should have beat week 1. Putting ourselves in a situation to kind of flip the script for the second half of the season. And I mean, you look at it, it's a close game, tied up, late, and then one team gets an opportunity to put points on the board at the end and finish it. And this time it was us, not them. So that was like just a great momentum to push into the back half.
Yeah, Jason, I guess just looking at the schedule, your last non-loss, I guess, was a draw 5 weeks ago against DC. That was DC's, I think, second draw. Maybe their first. They've got 2 anyway. There's something about
I think
DC.
it's the same score line too as their first draw. Yeah.
Okay, 22 all or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned that first game was it when you mentioned 4 yellow cards. I think your squad leads the league in yellows. Is that is that just because you guys are getting fired up and playing, looser? Like
it's tough to say, man. I mean, obviously you go back and look at that first game and we were super emotional and some silly errors, stacking things like you see in a new team. And then, the DC game, we got 5 yellow cards, still came out with a draw. So I don't know, the boys, I think it might've been a discipline issue. I think sometimes when you're a new team and you're feeling a bit under the pump, fellas feel like they have to step up and be a bit of a hero. And sometimes those sorts of situations can, lead to yellow cards. And then at the same time, when you get tagged as the yellow card team, you're going to be getting looked at a little bit more, not to say that they're not fair deserved, but, I know I've got a shoulder to the dome probably 20 times this year that hasn't been called, but that's just rugby, man. Sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. If you paint the right pictures and the ref doesn't have that in their head to try and ping you,
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, just this last game, you were very active. I think the stat 25 ruck arrivals. Was that were you just in a groove, or was it right places at the right time, or is that just like a metric where coaches are like, Jason, you need to hit a certain number of ruck arrivals every game?
Yeah, I don't know. We don't really focus too much on the ruck arrivals. More of just that work rate around the pitch, and sometimes if you're getting into those right positions, then that stat kind of can show that work rate a bit. It's something I've been working on all year, getting back into the flow of the game when you've been out 10 months. Sometimes it builds up and your transitions are a little slower. Your reactions to things are a bit slower. So I just kind of came into this past game with the mindset of like, I'm just going to give it everything. Like, need to do that every week and just have a bit of mongrel about me. And I think the whole team did, and it showed. Like, a couple of us leaders really wanted to lead from the front and fire the boys up, and I think they responded really well to it. So got to keep that going.
Is that more exhausting? You know what I mean? In a good way? Is that the way you should feel after every match? Like this? That's exactly the effort you need to put into every game. It's exhausting, but that's the way you should feel after every match?
Absolutely. Like, there's nothing worse than coming off the pitch after a loss and feeling like you could have given more. I think, like I was saying with this mindset shift, after the New England game, like I had a late shift to having to be the calling lock because we had an injury in the warm up. And like it just messed with my mindset, and I felt like I wasn't as present and active as I wanted to be. So like that, I think that definitely comes into it, right? You come off the pitch and you're like, yeah, I'm tired and beat up, but I felt like I could have done more. And that's just like one of the worst feelings you can have as an athlete, in my opinion. Like, I hate coming off the pitch, win or loss, and feeling like, I didn't really give it my best, or there was more in the tank and I just didn't pick the right opportunities.
Let's talk about some of your teammates, Jason. Generally speaking, well, specifically, you look like Ben Mitchell, his first start, and he was on the team of the week, so you did well, really well. Matt Heaton having a great season. Semi's playing amazing, and yourself as well. So talk about the makeup of this team, other than maybe those three or those two. Who's been standing out as big for the club?
Yeah, those guys are like Ben Mitchell came in so clutch for us. We were down, we lost 5 locks in like 2 weeks, and I had to put the 4 jersey on my back. So I'm glad Ben Mitchell could come in, and like he's just one of those guys that's been in the league since the start, and he's just put consistent performances week in and week out. So the fact that we could bring him in for a couple weeks here and help us out was huge. I think Andrew Coe is a guy who is like a huge pickup for us. Just like getting him from New York brings that X factor. Anytime he gets the ball in his hands, that something can happen. Jason Emery too from New York, like having those consistent 12 and 13 with James Stokes, experienced and can drive around the pitch. Like, it's crucial. One of the struggles for our team has been, whether it's through bans or injury, we have had a lot of shuffle in the lineup. And it's really hard to get in a groove as a new team when you have basically a different lineup every single week. So hopefully we can build more consistency as we move forward with, a couple more guys coming back from healthy and bans. Hopefully we get no more bans for the rest of the year. That'd be crucial.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of bans, unfortunately, Jason's going to be missing 3 weeks, which is unfortunate. But you talk about getting into a groove, and you certainly don't want to look past any opponent, right? Like, approach every game like, it's must win. Anthem this week, right? Anthem, great story of what MLR and USA Rugby are trying to do. That's obviously development side. They're still looking for their first win, but an opportunity here, right, for your club to get consecutive wins and really kind of keep that momentum going. I mean, I guess what do you guys need to do to just make sure you don't allow Anthem to get their first win, right? Like, because I think, from what I've been reading, if you go on MLR Reddit, some people are like, oh, this is Anthem's best chance here. It's got to be against LA. If it's not LA, it's not going to happen. I mean, what do you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it all week. I think they made some social media posts with Beat LA all over it. My mom's buying tickets for the game. I'm from Charlotte, so I think the ticket guy was like, just so you know, we're going to win this one and things like that. So, like, we know that they won it. This is their grand final. I think they've had this game circled on their calendar since day one. Like, as a new team, it can be difficult to find wins. So you really have to target the games that you think are winnable. And I think they put that target on our back. So for us, it's really just about focusing on us. Like, people can say what they want about Anthem, but if you watch their most recent games, like, they are consistently improving. And Seattle, I think they had them within a try for like 60 minutes. So that they're not someone you can just look over. No team in this league is. So we're really looking at us and continuing to build on the momentum we gained last week and like sticking to our DNA, the things we do well. and not looking past Anthem at all. Like, this is huge for us. This is probably just as important for us as it is to them. Like, if we can get 2 wins in a row on this 8-game stretch, it puts us on a really great trajectory. So I know people are, looking for an upset and things like that. And, but this game's just as big for us as it is for them. And I think we're going to be I know we're going to be bringing everything we have, to make sure we come out with the W.
Just Bill, real quickly, because like Jason, if you look, I'm sure you guys look at the schedule. I mean, this week alone, the teams that you're chasing in the standings, that 3 and 4 spot. I mean, Dallas has a tough match against Seattle, and San Diego has to take on the New England Free Jacks, right? So if both those teams were to drop, you guys get that bonus point win. All of a sudden, you're right back in the thick of things, right? And it's then it's like, okay, it's a different story. Nothing I need to tell you. I'm sure you guys know that. Yeah, Coach Steph is aware of it, but equally, I'm probably saying what you're just going to repeat anyway, but like equally important that this is a big opportunity for RFC LA to get really right back in that playoff hunt.
Yeah, we haven't put ourselves in a position to be able to drop any games. So looking at these last 8 games, we have to take it one game at a time and approach each one as a must win, because in reality they are. If we come out of each game with a bonus point win, 8 games, that's 40 points. Like, that puts us in a really good spot to be in playoff contention. Like, we're not out of it. Obviously, things are a little, more separated on the West than they are on the East. But still, I think. Oh, sorry. I think my headphones. Can y'all still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. I think we're focused on just taking it a game at a time and doing what we can to see where we end up at the end of the season.
Now, one of your season ticket holders wrote this, if you can read this at all. His buddy plays for Anthem, and he said they're looking at RFC LA for a chance to get basically their first W. Obviously, you guys can't let that happen. Especially for what you just said about making possibly a run for a playoff spot. Has training been intense this week? I mean, coming off that win, I'm sure people are riding high. So they're up for anything, obviously, but has training been intense as far as getting this win also this weekend?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we kind of changed the way we trained a little bit, looked at the things that were working well and the things that weren't during the bye, and made some adjustments coming, out of the bye into Dallas, and carried some of that into this week. So, we're trying to bring the intensity at training. We are we're not banging as much as you would at the early season, because it's week whatever. I don't even know. I just am week by week, but bodies are hurting, and boys are dropping left and right. So the intensity is there, but it's a lot of mental focus, making sure that when we're on the pitch, we're super switched on, because we know that the minutes get limited near the end of the year.
I don't. Obviously, we don't want to harp. No one wants to harp on losses of any club. But knowing you're a better team than maybe your record is showing, it's got to wear on the players over time. Maybe, again, what I mentioned earlier about the excitement of winning this game over Dallas. How did you and your teammates keep your head up and keep fighting?
Yeah, we searched for the little victories. It's something we said early on as a team. We knew things weren't going to go right all the time. Obviously, in your head, you're like, we're going to win every game. But realistically, you don't. And as a leadership group and coaching staff, we kind of looked at ways to curb the losses, spin the positives, and see the progress each week. Obviously, there are some weeks where it's head down, like the Seattle week. We put up just a really bad performance by our standards. But then we picked it back up again and kind of found a bit of a rhythm and took the positives and learnings from that. One thing that's really great about this team is our culture off the field. The boys get on with each other really well. And that's huge for when you're down in the dumps and you're facing losses. If it's cliquey and if there's infighting, then you just create this vacuum and this black hole that consumes everything. Yeah. But if you can stay positive with each other, and if guys get along and can have fun and can take criticism and give criticism, then you can kind of survive those dark times. And hopefully, stick together and ride it out and come out on on the positive side.
You mentioned the culture there that was formed, and I guess maybe talk a little bit about that. We got some questions, in a little bit here about the relocation from Atlanta, but as you mentioned, newer squad, some carryover right from Atlanta, but like, how does the culture form around the club? Is it on the players? Is it on the coaches, the staff, or is it a little bit of everyone just being professionals and realizing like, hey, we need to pitch up here?
Yeah, I think we had obviously a group from Atlanta, we had a group from Tel Aviv, and then kind of guys from all cultures. So we have, so many different nationalities on the team. There's not really one dominant, country represented. Americans, Canadians are pretty balanced. Foreign guys, we have guys from all over. So that helps in making guys mesh together, because you can't kind of get comfortable in your little clique. You have to branch out and meet each other. But also, when you're creating a culture, you can't force it, right? You can maybe nudge it and give it a bump in this direction. Or if you see it going this way, you can kind of curb it to square it back up to what we want. But it has to happen naturally. And I think the coaches and the managers did a great job of selecting this group of fellows to get on with each other well and kind of have a good balance of professionalism and fun. Like, you're in a city of LA. It's hard to tell people to move here and not have fun, right? But while you're having fun, you have to earn it. You have to put the work in on the pitch so you can go and, enjoy the beach in the afternoon or whatever it is. So, yeah, that's really it. Like, it happens organically, and I feel pretty blessed to be in a place where the culture is right now is very positive.
Ooh, got lost there. Sorry. I got a text about this show from someone else, and I got distracted, looked over here, and saw the shiny thing.
Okay.
So you're getting out. Are you surfing at all? You must be really enjoying Southern California. I mean, it's not Charlotte or Atlanta,
yeah.
still.
Yeah. No, it's not Atlanta. No, I'm just kidding. I love it out here. Yeah. My mom, she actually lives in Charlotte now, but she went to Cal State Long Beach, and my granny and aunt live out here. Sister in San Diego, so I've been coming out to California. I think I was conceived in California. Actually, my dad was in the Marine Corps, stationed at Camp Pendleton. And then I was born in Atlanta like a little bit later. So I'm maybe technically Californian. You could maybe count it. It's great. You see the beach every day. One of the best things about the West Coast is the sunsets. Like, grew up on the East Coast. If you want to see the sunrise, you got to get up early, and not everyone's keen for that. I know I'm not always super keen for that, but here it's like you just look out the porch at 7:30 and you get a great sunset every day. My brother's the big surfer, so he's like a surfer and skater. I think he was the one who was meant to be out here.
He still has the hair for it. He still has the
hair
for it.
Maybe a little. I think he's getting arches going. He's,
I've got
go ahead, Fitzy.
Yeah, I've got in-laws in Redondo Beach, Torrance.
Oh, that's where I'm at, bro. Redondo, represent South Bay. Let's go.
Okay, yeah. I'll be out there in a couple of weeks, matter of fact. But I wanted to talk a little bit more. Touch a little bit on the rugby ATL kind of just like relocation, right? And just like, the culture that was built there in Atlanta, the unfortunate passing of the owner, and then the decision, just kind of the turmoil around, is the team coming back, and then the decision, obviously for new ownership to come in and take it to I guess from your perspective, kind of like what was going through your mind when some of that was going on?
Yeah, man, it was obviously it was like I've said it a bunch of times. It was a huge gut punch. Like, when you build something and then you kind of have it taken away from you, it hurts. And we had to deal with that. Like, the reality of the situation was, if we didn't get bought, there wasn't going to be a rugby ATL next year anyway. So, like, people can say what they want, but the people who stepped in to purchase the team really, in a way, like, saved a bunch of our opportunities there. And, the thing that really sucks about the situation is there's a bunch of guys who were very based in Atlanta, whether they were going to life or they had families and careers there and were also playing rugby, that kind of had to hang them up earlier than they probably should have or could have. And that's like one of the tough things, about the transition. Unfortunately, like, what do you do? It's tough. I think that they handled it well, in that, like, they kind of took care of those guys, and and made sure that there were options for everyone, every different path, whether you wanted to come to LA, whether you didn't, whether you wanted to keep playing rugby, whether you didn't. So, it was tough, but at the end of the day, for me, it was a change that was kind of refreshing. Like when you stay in the same place for a while. I love Atlanta, and I planned on retiring there. But sometimes a fresh start is good and breeds competition, and sort of reignites a fire inside you to keep getting better. And you can't be comfortable in a new place.
And this will make Fitzy laugh. I played at rugby in Atlanta for many years, for life for half a season, and then Old White for many years. So it's a good rugby town. There, that's my one mention. Me played rugby in Atlanta once. Okay,
there you go.
Actually, Old White just beat Charlotte twice this past season to get. Anyway, move on from there. Let's talk USA Rugby, USA Eagles. You're named to the training squad, extended squad for the 2 matches in July. How's that feel to get called up again? Has to be a good confidence boost for you.
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, obviously, I've had some opportunities. We've gotten a few caps, but missed out on a lot because of injury. And my wedding was in the middle of the repechage, and I think if I would have gone to that instead of the wedding, I wouldn't have been married. So no. I made the family man choice there. Don't regret it at all. But so I missed out on a lot. So honestly, it was really, really good confidence boost coming off the injury and showing that they still have, faith in me and like the product that I'm putting on the field. Obviously, I'm looking to improve every week, looking to continue to grow and play at like a high international standard so that I can represent my country the best, whether it's in the MLR or with the USA patch on my chest.
And was that match against Chile last year, was that the taste of international play that you had to have more?
Yeah. Man, it was super infectious. I mean, my first cap was in Chile, and there's like 17,000 Chileans just like yelling at you and seeing them sing their national anthem, like the pride in it, and it's like, oh man, this magical moment. And obviously that game was so hectic with the dumping down rain, and then the power went out like 3 minutes after I came on the field.
That was
it was quite a debut, but and then obviously getting to represent the country in front of USA fans in Glendale, like, man, it was magical. I come from a family military service. My dad was in the Marine Corps for 20 years, both his brothers in for 20 and 30, his dad for 30. So like, it's kind of always been ingrained in me, like this service of your country. And I don't know, it's kind of like a beautiful way for me to be able to serve my country in my own way. Like, obviously didn't join the military, but can still represent my nation and give it to some countries for them, hopefully get a couple harsh carries and tackles against the opposition with the red, white, and blue on my chest, feels good.
You're in you got good company there, other number 8s named to the extended roster, quite a number from MLR. We don't have to go through all of them, but Luke White, Chicago, Ben Bonasso is going to be on a little bit from Miami, and Thomas Tuval from Utah. How do you guys find that balance between like being competitive and competing for a spot and like supporting each other, right? Like that's got to be that. To me, that's always probably been the most interesting thing about competing for a national team spot.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's not super unfamiliar to us, right? Because we kind of have to do it every day at our clubs. Like you have to be best friends with the guy that you're trying to beat out every single week, so it's not new. It's just a bit different because we don't see those guys every week, so it can get a little more competitive, and in your head you can kind of be like, you kind of use it as fuel. Like this guy has a good week, and you're like, all right, you know what, I got to show up. Luke was actually my roommate my first ever year. So I'm happy to see him get in the mix. The past couple of years, he's a great fella. And then Thomas Tuval has also just improved season to season in the MLR, and like he's a big bruiser. So just it really helps me raise the standard. Like when you're finding the ways to get pushed and push yourself, watching some of their film and things like that, figuring out the good ways to get better.
Well, Ben is waiting in the green room right here for his half.
Oh, Benji?
If you want to talk some trash to him right now about how you're going to we could pop him in here just for a second. I don't know if he'd be up for that.
Let him know.
Yeah, let's see if he wants to jump in real quick.
Yeah, he's
Ben,
just
you okay?
Slow. he's just gonna keep calling me slow the whole time.
Hey, mate, what happened? You didn't say anything about me.
Hey, bro.
Yeah. Here's a chance, Jason. Come on, let him have it.
Yeah, no. Benji's too fast for me, bro. I can't keep up with him. He's different. I love it.
Nice. All right. Hey, Benji, we're going to drop it back down. We'll come right back to you here in a second. All right, Jason, we're going to let you go. I was hoping there would be something there we can post as a tease tomorrow. Like, oh no, there's turmoil on the USA side. There's
when
Ben Miami and LA
guy, man, I can't believe him. He's
yeah,
two eights clashing a new club. No, I love Benji. He's whenever we were down in South America, I was pester him with my Spanish knowledge, which is not that great, but he obviously speaks it much better than me. So every once in a while, I like to hit him with a couple of Spanish phrases I know to get his reactions.
Nice. Well, hey, Jason, thank you so much for your time, and again, thank you for coming on West Coast time. Enjoy. Well, your brother enjoys the waves. You can enjoy the waves too. Enjoy the waves, and good luck this weekend. Yeah,
appreciate you, fellas. Thanks for having me on. Cheers, Benji. Go well, brother.
See you, buddy.
Thanks, Jason.
Yeah, good stuff. Good guy. These are Fitzy. Looking at the USA 53-man roster, I like it. I love the list on there. And I keep on going back to years prior of people that we missed from like Titi Lamasatelli, who obviously just signed with Harlequins. He's no longer USA qualified. But I look at names and I went down this list. I'm like, I like it. And there's a lot of players that can get debuts who could really contribute to this team and a lot of experience. I think MLR is helping out quite a bit.
Yeah.
What's that?
I have like a fire and a passion to want to put the jersey on, which is awesome.
Yeah, and I think that comes from Scott Lawrence, and I don't know. It probably does, and from USA Rugby. Maybe our next guest will share a little more about that in a couple minutes here. But, one thing we need to talk about a little more again is, earlier we mentioned with Jason about, getting ready for games, getting prepared for Anthem, not wanting to drop that one against Anthem, the game that should win. And obviously a lot of research goes into the opponent, not just themselves, but they also look into the opponent. What do they do right? What do they do wrong? How can they attack it? And it's a lot of film. It's a lot of film with those teams. But we got you covered because our sponsor for the show tonight and every night is QuickTap. QuickTap is a great source for these teams and players of all levels. That's coaches, players, staff, again, all levels. And they are the only platform designed specifically for rugby. Very affordable. You should check them out. QuickTap makes it easy to categorize video and collect stats as you watch film. With those stats and clips, QuickTap's video review and analytics capabilities help cut the wasted time from your off-field review so you can get right to the insight you need to play better rugby and get a leg up on your opponent. Find out what Anthem's doing, that kind of stuff. So check out getquicktap.com and use the offer Happy Hour. That's one word, Happy Hour, when signing up for a free trial. That Happy Hour code will also get you 10% off your annual subscription, and QuickTap will sweeten the deal by tracking your first match for you. QuickTap, the most powerful way to beat your opponents before ever setting foot on the pitch. So, Fitzy, I'm going to give it a second here before we get to our next guest. So I feel like things are moving. We're going to get to him in a second. Like I said, Jason was great. But we will get to him now. I think we're ready to get on to our next guest. Returning to the show, this time in moving pictures, let's welcome Miami Sharks loose forward, Ben Bonasso. Hey, Benji, how are you?
Hi, boys. How are you?
We're good.
Yeah. Very good.
I think the last time we spoke, I think I probably asked you the same thing. What do you like to be called? And from people like us.
Whatever is easier for you. I think Ben is the best way. It would be easier. In Argentina, they call me Benja. But in English, it's really tough to pronounce the J, because people will say, and when we laugh, when we're typing WhatsApp, you put ha 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 ha. For us, it's J J J J. Yeah. So it's quite difficult. So Ben for me is all good.
Ben, okay. Well, we're just lazy in this country, so that's why we don't pronounce it.
Benja.
Benja. All right,
No,
whatever.
no J. No, Bill, no J.
Benja. Whatever. My wife is learning Spanish, which I know is different, but anyway. So Ben, how's the week been? It's an off week. Anything fun?
Yeah. So I have the pleasure to have my mother-in-law in the States. So we went to Key West for 2 days to enjoy a little bit of beach and scuba diving. It was good. We had a good fun. Just 2 days, and I'm back here today again in Miami.
And back to training tomorrow?
No, we have training on Saturday, and then we're back on Monday training.
All right.
Yeah, we are.
So your teammates, Avi Ottoman and Santiago Mandela, on the Major League Rugby Team of the Week this past week. Our first half guest was the Player of the Week. What happened to you? We had this all planned that you would be on the team week also. You don't need a week off.
No, it's amazing to have the two of the boys in the team of the week. I think we always when we have team meetings, we like to say to the boys that are in the team of the week to give them a big applause. I think it's great to recognize the players that have great games. So yeah, really happy for them.
Yeah, of course. And typically we like to talk about the last match and win, but since Miami Sharks is a new team, we really want to talk more about the team. Tell us about the rugby culture around the team and in Miami. Yeah.
For myself, moving into Miami, it was a really good decision. It's more familiar for me. It's more like my home, like in Argentina. Similar culture. The weather helps a lot. And into the team, we have the head coach is Argentinian, and the forwards coach is from Uruguay. So that's great. Also, they share a lot of passion and heart. And then we'll build a new team. It's not an excuse, but we're working a lot on that. Our squad is quite short, but we've been training, I don't know, for 6 weeks before our first game. It was hard, but we're making our best, and I think we're achieving it.
Well, Ben, I think all of us, Bill and I and fans, were excited when Miami announced the new franchise, when we saw the very heavy South American influence on the team, because it's a region around the world where rugby is really on fire. I mean, you mentioned Argentina, you mentioned Uruguay, Chile. I mean, Brazil's on the up and up. Like it's an up and coming part of the rugby world. So, I mean, my question to you is just like, how many languages might you hear at one time during a Sharks game?
It's hard for everyone because we are, I think, 9 from South America. And we used to, the South Americans loves to speak and shout, and in locker rooms and everything, we try to speak in English as much as we can, but sometimes it's really hard.
Yeah.
Some of the boys here, Sean Mainulti and Dan Pryor, they're doing Spanish lessons. They're getting better. Everyone is trying to learn, and the coach always, poquito. And the coaches are always trying to get the Spanish to everyone, So it's good for that. It's good.
Yeah, I got to imagine the locker room, the music in the locker room is probably a lot of fun.
Yeah, we love it.
Speaking of just kind of like the locker room, training the same facility as Miami FC and MLS. I'm sure you're getting tired of this question, but have you run into Messi yet?
So we were in the gym, and he was from the window, in the other side of the window. But the problem is we have a policy. We cannot take any picture with him.
Yeah.
It was like maybe 5 meters away. So it was quite close. We're hoping one day we can get him to training or to a game. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
We didn't get him yet.
Emergency scrum half, just in case.
That would be awesome.
He keeps kicking the ball. Ben, if a rugby fan came into Miami for a Sharks home match, what would that fan expect to find as far as a game day experience?
Yeah. So in terms of what you're talking about, everything, or just the rugby?
Well, even like off-field experience. Say, what
Yeah.
does the team supply? Yeah.
So we're getting better every week in that part of the game. Outside the game, we have a pre-show. There is I don't know. Last week there was a game before us. There are a lot of food trucks and music, live music. Then during the game, it's a good game, and then in the middle there is a show. Then you have the after party for everyone. So yeah, I think it's a great show for everyone. It's a good experience, and yeah, the management of the organization is getting better every week, and we're really proud. We're trying to help them. Also, rugby in Miami is quite new for everyone. You have a couple of teams, but maybe you're in the beach and people see you on what sport do you play? So and you say rugby, and they're like, what, rugby? So we're trying to help and to grow that community. I think that's the path, and that's the place we want to go.
Has a team organized any sand games on South Beach?
Not yet. We should. It would be a good idea, I think.
No Speedos. Okay. Speaking of Miami, outside of rugby, where do you go? Or do you visit Little Havana much? I love Versailles restaurant there. You said you went to the Keys this past week. What do you do when you get out?
So yeah, usually the boys. I think I love the beach. So we have a Hollywood Beach. We live in Dania Beach, that is quite north, close to Fort Lauderdale. So we used to go after training maybe to the beach, just have some mate and chill. It's good to, after training, maybe clear your mind, get into the sea. But then in the night, maybe we like Wynwood. It's beautiful. And then, yeah, you always have something to do. I don't know. Last week we have the F1 over here in the Hard Rock Stadium. You always have some basketball or the MLS, Messi playing here. So you always have something to do. But yeah, myself prefer, I love to go to the beach, maybe have some feet around here and then just chill.
Well, sorry, Fitzy, before you jump in, one place to check out, it's down in Homestead, which is down towards the Keys. It's called Robert is Here. It's a fruit stand. Okay. I know, go check out our fruit stand. I know it seems odd, but it is amazing. It is the most amazing fruit stand. I used to do a lot of work with NASCAR, so I go down to the racetrack down there. It's not far from the track. It will blow you away. The selection of fruits and stuff, and they have a little petting zoo. That's kind of scary. Don't do that. But check out Robert is Here. It's a great place. They are not a sponsor of the show, but I would take them. Go ahead, Fitz. You can jump in.
Yeah. Well, Ben, I was just gonna say, 3-6 on the season. Miami's in the hunt, right? In the inaugural year, just a few points back of, the, I guess, what's that, the 4th spot there. Old Glory DC, had to win against Utah Warriors just this last round, and got some reinforcements coming in, right? Just signed a long-time Puma center, Matias Orlando. I mean, yeah, I guess what's the feeling in the locker room right now? Knowing there's 5 or 6 games left in the season, maybe a little bit more, but you guys are right in the thick of competing for a playoff spot.
Yeah. So after I think after our first bye week, we have 6 games, then 4 games, and now we have a block of 6 coming up. We decide, we have a chat with coaches, and we decide every week is going to be a final for us because we depend on ourselves. So I think it's really good to treat every game as a final because you prepare the week really good. You train really hard with intensity, and then we show it against Utah. We can play rugby. We can express ourselves. So that's the feeling in the changing room at this point is, yeah, we want it. We want to get better. We want to win. And the worst things for teams is losing. And when they lose is something normal inside the team is the worst because you don't want to be there. You want to fight everyone. And I think Miami is not like this. We want to get better. Everyone wants it. And yeah, we're trying to do our best. Again, we treat every game as a final. We have 6 coming up. This bye week is great because we can get some energy and we go again. And again, we're putting a lot of energy and focus on training weeks putting a lot of intensity there, just putting the focus on ourselves and going hard against each other, and then we go into a weekend and just do the job.
Yeah, well, you guys got a big one coming up when you guys return from the bye. Of course, you'll be hosting the Free Jacks, the defending champs. Certainly, their strong side. They've got, they maybe not quite the record that they had last year. So certainly a team that can be beat. I think the Eastern Conference is wide open. Bill may disagree; he's a Free Jacks fan, but any extra preparations, I guess, going into that match against New England, knowing that they are, the top team in the Eastern Conference, or is it?
No. Again, we put a lot of focus on ourselves. We also analyze other teams just to know some things of how we have to defend them, how we have to attack them. But yeah, we go every game to try to do our best and play rugby. If you put a lot of focus, I think in other teams, you lose the focus of yourself and of your team, and your mind start going another way. And we don't want that. We want the full energy on what we have to do. But yeah, it's gonna be a lovely game. After the last game we played over there, they beat us really well. It was, I think, the first time in the league for us that some teams show us how to play rugby, and they were really physical. Mm-hmm. So I think we're gonna go hard next week. Against each other and try to do our best and perform on the weekend. And sorry. And I think coming here to Miami to play at this point, it's getting humid, it's getting hot, and it's our home. So I think it's going to be a hard game for them. So they have the pressure. We are the underdogs.
Nothing to lose, except for a championship game every weekend. Do you know when Orlando shows? When he makes his appearance with the team? Matty's?
Not yet. I think they were waiting for the visa. I don't know if this week he's coming, but maybe 1 week, 2 weeks. But yeah, I'm really excited it's a great addition to the team. Good experience. It's going to be great for us.
And we touched on the New York earlier a bit. Let's talk about your reactions to when the club folded. How did you find out? Were you already on the move to Miami? Talk about the off season there.
Yeah. So I was in Argentina. I have surgery on my shoulder middle of the season last year. Right. And after the season, I went straight to Argentina, stayed there for 6 months and make my recovery over there. And as soon as I get to Argentina, I start talking and seeing what I'm going to do for the next season. And when I heard from Miami, I have a chat with coaches and everything, and with New York as well. And they told me it was good for me to go to Miami. So I moved before. And yeah, some of the boys from New York, I text the guys from New York saying, "Hey boys, I'm leaving," and all that. And some guys were like, "Oh, we're going to kill you next season, blah, blah, blah." Yeah. And yeah, one night I was having a chat with Sam Windsor and some of the boys. They texted me send me some, at the first was in a weird, I don't remember, web page. There was some information over there and any one of the boys know what was happening. And then they receive a text message from the owner to a WhatsApp group saying "Hey, bye boys, this is over." Just like that. And everyone, some boys in New Zealand, they already rent their houses, quit their jobs, and they were about to get a flight into next Monday, and they find out with a text message, WhatsApp message. So it was really hard. And for me, that I already signed with Miami, it was as hard as for them, because I was still feeling like a New York player, and I was speaking with the boys, and they were like, "I don't know what I'm gonna do." Everyone was texting me "Hey, can I go to Miami? Can I go to?" I was trying to help them, but it's hard. This league always is really good sometimes, but sometimes can be really bad, and I hope it gets better. But yeah, some boys quit rugby because of this. So it was a really hard news for everyone. So yeah.
You mentioned the down part right there, but let's talk about the upside right now of Major League Rugby. You've been in the league for a bit. This past weekend's results around the league have been great. I think all but one match were decided by less than 3 points. So it's nice and level mostly. Is it a good sign of the competitiveness of this league? I mean, have you seen some good growth from your side?
Yeah. This is my 4th year over here, and I think the league is getting every year is getting better. Teams are getting better, and if you see, most of the teams have they renew their player for 60-70%, and then they bring new players. So I think that's the way, because in 6 months it's really tough to put a team together, and just you have one month to put it like preseason, and you go into the season go and play. But that when you keep the same players and same coaches, I think you can build something. And I think players over here are amazing. Everyone is getting better. The league, I think, is going forward in some aspects. In some others, no, but I think it's getting better. And I'm really happy to be part of this league.
Yeah, let's switch gears, talk a little USA Rugby. You were named to the training squad for the 2 matches in July. I guess, how does it feel to be called up again?
Yeah, it's a great boost for myself. When you put something in your mind and I play every weekend, and maybe I have that in my mind, saying I have to perform, or I want to perform to get in my best, play my best rugby, to then when USA arrives, I'm in my best way. But it's amazing. So my last game was against Portugal in Dubai, and it was a really tough one. I didn't sleep for maybe 1 month after that. It was really tough. I always still think about that, or about Chile, and it's really hard for me. But that's why I think I want to come back. But it's still hard. I have here a Chilean guy, Santiago Videla, and at the beginning it was hard to get into it, but then I get to know him, and he's a great man. He's one of my best mates over here. So it was really tough.
Yeah. I guess maybe would you say you have like a different approach this time with the training squad? And what I mean by that is, you kind of know what to expect from yourself, or what you need to put out. Different approach this time in the training squad?
Yeah, so I think Scott is doing an amazing job. Amazing. He's having one-on-ones with each player. In my Nick Easter, I have a call with him. They're doing a lot of work beside rugby. I think that's really good. Scott came to watch a game of Miami twice, and have a good chat with him. So we always have reviews, and they send us the work rate and the energy and what you have to get better at. So I think the approach is amazing, and we're building something amazing here. So every credit to Scott. I think he's doing an amazing job with USA Rugby. Also working with the under 20s, under 18s, college, and everything. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the way. That's the way to get USA Rugby better, and they're doing it. So I'm really happy.
So we asked Jason the same question. You're in good company with other number 8s on the USA squad. We mentioned Luke White, Jason, of course, yourself, Thomas Duval. Here's a chance to give Jason a heart. No, just kidding. Is it competitive? Obviously, you were competing for a spot, or is it just more about supporting each other for the greater good? Let's say.
No, I think the best part of rugby, I think, is competition.
Yeah.
I love competing in every aspect, even here in Miami. If you don't have competition, you don't have anything, any flame, inside yourself to go over. And competing against, I don't know, Jason or Luke White or whoever it is, because I can play 6 or 8 or whatever. Mm-hmm. I think it's amazing. I when I play, I don't know, this weekend I play Thomas Duval, the number 8. I was trying to go hard at him, and try to always be competing. And then maybe when we get together, he's my best mate. But inside the field, I'm gonna go hard and try to give my best, because without competition, I think, I don't know, you can't play this sport.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, competition makes. Sorry, Bill. Go ahead.
No, you.
I was just gonna say, yeah. I mean, competition brings the best out of all of us, right? It raises everyone's levels up. No, I was just gonna ask, and Ben, you mentioned Scott Lawrence, and we've talked with him a little bit, and he brought up that the concept of, I guess, 0G rugby. We've heard him explain it to us, but like in your mind, like what does 0G rugby mean to you?
Sorry, say again.
Yeah, like Scott Lawrence, we've talked with him before. He's brought up 0G rugby, I guess, like the style of rugby that the men's Eagles want to play. I guess maybe talk a little bit about what you think that American style of rugby is.
Yeah, I think it's playing rugby. Express ourselves, be the best versions of every player can be. I think that's the way. And he brings always like trying to be again the best version you can be. And that's why we try to have a lot of one-on-ones with the SNCs, coaches, with head coach. We have Zoom calls every 15 days. So that's what we try to bring to the field, be the best version of ourselves. We have to be trained hard, we have Rossi as SNC. I have it here in Miami. I'm really lucky. He's always trying to get us in our best version. So we need to be fit, good skills, and I think that's the way. That's the G rugby that Scott wants.
Yeah, and the last thing about the international rugby, was there a moment growing up in Argentina, or I guess more of late, where maybe you had to make a decision about maybe either still going for the Pumas or the men's Eagles? I mean, was there a certain point where you said, okay, I've got this opportunity for USA, let's go for it?
Yeah, it's a great question. It was one of the worst decisions I have to take in my life.
Yeah.
It was in my first season over here, 2021. I was playing rugby and I have Leguizamon. You remember Juan Manuel Leguizamon, ex-Puma? He was playing in New York. He played only 20 minutes, I think, because he hurt his ACL. But yeah, I was playing rugby, and then one day Marty Beal came to me and was, hey, mate, maybe they're going to call you from USA. And it was like, oh my God. It was it was really good to hear that because it means that I was doing something well.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I was born here in the States, but I lived my whole life in Argentina. So I feel Argentinian. But then it was, if we have to be honest, to play for the Pumas, I have to be in Europe performing really well, or in Jaguars in Argentina also performing. And I was here in the States, and I saw the World Cup, and I was like, mate, let's go with USA. I have a Butcher playing in Rooney with me, Nate, Chance, a lot of the guys were playing with me, Nick Civetta. And I said, like, let's go over here. And again, I think it was a great decision. We didn't make the World Cup, but I think I'm getting to know a lot of people. The experience representing my country, because it's my country. And every time I put a jersey, whatever jersey it is, I try to put my 100%. So I feel it, and I like, and I love it, and I'm gonna defend it. So I'm really proud to represent the States.
Yeah, just a couple more questions for you. Growing up, when did it dawn on you that you could actually go pretty far in this game? Was there a certain point where you got selected to a side, or coaches pretty much told you, listen, you're up here, everyone else is down here? Was there a moment where you realized, okay, I could do this?
Yeah, so in Argentina, they have a really good system. I was playing in my club under 18 or 17 it was. And you have it was called Pladar. It's a plan of high level training. It was from the Pumas, like under 20s, under 18. Sorry. And yeah, they called me one day and they were like, "Hey, mate, we want you to train here. So you go 3 times a week, train every morning, do some skills, some gym, and yeah, you were just part of the group." And he started growing up, and he started training there, and he started playing with I don't know, like an exhibition or a tournament, and they called you to under 20s, and yeah, he started like that. And one day I was about to play the under 20s with Argentina, and I break my ACL, so I couldn't make it to the World Cup. And then I give a try again with Argentina 15. I was playing, but I wasn't enjoying, so I decided to quit, and I play only club rugby. And that's when they called me from here, from New York. So yeah, I don't know. It was a choice. I think that the biggest choice was to come to USA, because at that point, before coming to the USA, I decided just to play club rugby and maybe start working and finish my studies. But yeah, I decided to come here, and it was like, oh, let's give it a try, and I'm loving it.
Well, Ben, this has been a blast talking to you, but do us a favor. When that beach rugby match happens, you're going to need 2 people to do announcing of the match. Make sure you call myself and Fitzy. I need the sun. You guys, you can tell me a little sun.
You can get the speed. Who can get the speedos?
Yeah, that would be Bill.
I know. I will attract none of the fans. Ben, it's been a blast talking to you. Good luck next weekend after this bye. Good luck making it to the playoffs. I hope you knock off DC. Sorry, just kidding. But seriously, good luck. Looking forward to seeing you in camp with USA, and hopefully seeing you in the pitch in the Eagles uniform this summer as well.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, good time. Thanks again. Cheers.
See you around.
And I cut him off.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
We want him back on.
I know. Get back on. Good stuff. Good, 2 really good guys. Great to have them in the Eagles mix again this summer. Like I said earlier, I really like this big selection of 53. I think it's not a lot of people I see in there. And I'm like, oh, where did this guy go? How come he's not in there? I think it's pretty nailed right now. In the past, I think there's been plenty of times we said, oh, and really, he's on? That kind of thing. I'm confident with this. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's hard not to get excited. I mean, it's going to be tough. I don't envy the USA Rugby coaching staff who have to trim down that roster. You know what I mean? Like, that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough decision to be made. But
it's almost like an NFL roster. It's like 50-something people or whatever they have, 100 people on the team.
I know you watch Hard Knocks and you like the one guy who's like, who's on the edge of making it or not, and you hope he makes it, and then you see him get the call and get the playbook in. You're like, no, not that guy. I wanted him to make the team.
All right, listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. If you tune in live, I really appreciate it. The comments have been great tonight. Unfortunately, we only put up 1 comment tonight, but we'll be doing more of those eventually. So keep on bringing those comments. If you listen to the podcast replay, please join us live as well on Wednesday nights, or keep listening to the pod and share it with friends. And also, please like, follow, and subscribe to this show. Please, 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 on YouTube and your favorite podcast player. And don't be afraid to leave comments and reviews on your podcast player as well. I think Apple and others do it. Anything's fine. Just go for it. Love hearing from you. And also, we do want to give a big thank you to our sponsor, QuickTap. Check out getquicktap.com and use the offer code Happy Hour. That's one word, Happy Hour, when signing up for a free trial, which gets you 10% off your annual subscription. And QuickTap will sweeten the deal by tracking your first match for you. QuickTap, the most powerful way to beat your opponents before ever setting foot on the pitch. Oh, hey, there he is all by himself. Hey, Fitz. Happen. There I am. End of the show. I'm already messing up. All right. Cheers, buddy. We'll suck again next week.
That's going to hurt, Bill. Good stuff.